Young people are facing a serious debt problem. Between 2022 and 2023, boomers saw a slight decrease in debt year over year, while Gen X saw a slight uptick. But millennials saw their average debt increase by 8%, and Gen Z more than 15%.
Many young adults are finding themselves sinking deeper into debt.
This credit card concern seems to be particularly true for Gen Z.
Young people today are being shut out of the American dream.
So, how much worse off are younger generations? And how did it get so bad?
I am in debt for education.
Oh my God, I didn't know there was a word for it, doom spending.
I start getting overwhelmed about, okay, how am I gonna pay this off?
If you ask me how I would describe my generation financially, broke. Very broke.
Dating in this society is horrendous. There's a reason why people are struggling with dating in this society. Because the world we live in today is messed up. People forget how connected economy and dating is. They are both connected. Dating depends on the economy. I mean, let's break it down. How can you expect young people to have a happy dating life when young people cannot pay their bills? Let's start there. Can we start there? You say young people need to date more. You need to date more. Where are they going to get the money from? We are living in a world today where to get your first job, it could take you 2 years to get your first job as a fresh graduate. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Going to school itself in a lot of countries is expensive. So you have young people, and this is focused on the average person. This is focused on the average man and the average woman, the average boy, the average girl. I don't care about the elites. I don't care about that. I'm an average guy, so I speak on what I know. Okay? To get into school, expensive. To stay in school, expensive. You leave school, you have to survive. To get your first job, it's a war zone. So now you have to do odd jobs here and there until you get your first paying job. Right? You get your first paying job, guess what? Low wages. Low salary. Low salary. So now you are in your mid-20s with your first job, first corporate job, with earning a low wage. And guess what? The bills are not getting any lower. They're on the rise. So you're earning a low wage. You have to pay off your debts that you accumulated. Right? And you have to live. And you've got to pay rent. And you've got to pay health insurance. And you've got to pay transport. And you got to buy food. And. This is the reality of the average young person. And you're talking about dating? The average young person is trying to survive and not die. To survive, to live. And these companies are just out here increasing the rent, increasing prices of every single thing. Things don't get cheaper. They only get more expensive. That is why dating is hard, because people are trying to survive. People are more focused on survival than dating. It's hard. Look at the statistics. Look at things around us. Everything is taking longer and longer to achieve, to manifest. Young people are taking longer now to get married. Oh yes. I think it's now people are getting married older because they need to save money. They need to work. What took our parents' generation 5 years, it's taking us 10 years. Home ownership was something that was common back in our parents' generation. Home ownership in our generation for the average man and the average woman, damn near impossible. Most of us are going to rent till the day we leave this planet Earth because of how the system is set up. The rich get way richer, the average gets stuck, and the poor get poorer. This is how the world works. 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 And you're talking about dating. Rent is crazy. And you know the funny thing. This is what I'm talking about as well from an economic standpoint, right? From an economic standpoint. Yeah. To get a good job that's going to pay you a livable wage, right? To get a good job that will pay you a livable wage, you have to go to the big cities. Forget about it. If you want a good job in this generation that's going to pay you a livable wage, you have to go to the big cities. So I'm talking New York, San Francisco, Seattle, Zurich, Zug, Singapore, Hong Kong, Beijing, Shanghai, London, Paris, Berlin, Dubai, or wherever, Frankfurt. What do all these cities have in common? Bloody expensive. So now you go to these cities as a young average man, average woman, with hopes in your eyes. You're competing with everybody else. Now you throw in AI. So now you're not only competing, it pisses me off. So now you're not only competing with the people in your neighborhood, you're competing with people in the whole country. Not just that, you're competing with people in the whole world now because of remote jobs, right? So somebody can be in India and apply for jobs in America. Somebody can be in South Africa and be competing with you over there in London for that same job. And the person in South Africa or Nigeria or Kenya can be paid less. So that's why you over here in London or in America, you are struggling. Because guess what the company cares about more? Saving money. That's it. So a company, if they find somebody who's just as good as you, but located in a country where they can pay them way less, they'll pick that. That is why getting jobs lately has been a pain for the past 5, 6, 7 years. It's only worse now in 2025 because it's peaking. And not just that, you've got AI now. It is overkill for the average person, at least, trying to climb up. So like I said, you're not only competing with people from your college, you're not only competing with people from your neighborhood, you're competing with people from your country, from the whole world, and now you've got AI competing for the same jobs now. This is the world we live in. It is brutal. This society is killing dating. Because economic is hard. The economy is hard on everybody. And that is why when we come on social media, we see everybody shining. Everybody is talking about how much money they make. And this is contributing to the depression that people are feeling. Because we come online, we come on Instagram, we come on TikTok, and we see everybody's living the high life, forgetting that what you see online is not real. Some people are living that life. Kudos to them, but most people are not. It's only on social media that everybody makes 6 figures. Have you noticed that? Everybody makes 6 figures online. Everybody is making multi-millionaire on YouTube, on TikTok. It's crazy to me. This is the society we are living in, ladies and gentlemen. We need to start having these conversations. This world is crazy. The mental health crisis is going to increase because the world as we know it has changed. The world as we know it has changed. And it's not going to get better for the average man and the average woman and the poor man and the poor women. It's not getting any better, guys. Forget it. Forget about it. Dating in this economy? Do you know that in some cities, even earning 6 figures is not enough? Having an annual salary of $100,000 per year in some cities is nothing. It's not enough. You've got to factor in taxes. You've got to factor in the rent. You've got to factor in all the bills you got to pay. It's not enough. In a place like San Francisco, 6 figures is nothing. It's nothing. This is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. And now people say, oh, you got to create a business, launch a business. So some people think that launching a business is this get-rich-quick scheme. Do you know how hard it is to run a business? Do you know how difficult it is to run a business? Like people, and this is why I blame social media, right? Social media has made everything look so easy. Or just launch a business. Just do this, do this. It's a lie. They're lying to you. They make it sound so simple. It's a lot of work. Running a business is a fucking hard job. It's a hard job. It's a hard job. I'm telling you as a guy who's run a business, it's brutal. It's brutal. People are suffering. This society is stressing the hell out of people. Some people now have to do 3-4 jobs just to survive, guys. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? The rich are getting richer, the poor are struggling. Nobody can date anymore. Who has time for that shit, dude? And you have kids? My God. You're on a low salary and you've got kids? 2-3 kids? Boy, man, you are, woo! Child care, not even factoring in child care. How expensive child. So now imagine this. Man meets woman. Average man meets average woman, right? They get paired up. They're dating. They now have to think of, okay, we want kids. Right? So the woman, they give birth. The woman has to stay home. The man has to now carry the burden. Now you have the woman, because most likely it's not enough. She now has to find a way to get back to working. So the kid has to be put in childcare. And how much is childcare? Usually very expensive in the big cities especially. That's more money gone. So now you're destroying your family time because money is not enough. This is the world we are living in, ladies and gentlemen. The way this system is set up, nobody has time to breathe. We are living in a system where people cannot breathe. I know this is a rant, but this is due time we rant about this. Everybody is busy. Everybody is stressed. Everybody is chasing the next check because they have to. That is why you see a lot of people now, they are still depending on their parents, the bank of mom and dad, as they call it. Because you have to. You have people that are in their late 30s still getting money from their parents to supplement their living. Getting a high paid job now is stressful as fuck. Getting a high paying job is not a guarantee anymore that you're going to be financially okay. You have no choice but to live below your means. But how can you live below your means when your means is so low as it is? And when you're trying to upskill, you can't do nothing. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is the world we live in. Now you have people living 4 or 5 of them in one apartment, so share rent, so they can live. Is this the way we are going to be? Is this how our society is going to be, ladies and gentlemen? Where we are all on survival mode? Come on. There's more to life. And my darkest speculation is that the self-unaliving rates are going to increase. Because what kind of life is this, dude? What kind of miserable life is this? What kind of miserable life is this? It's a miserable life. You wake up, you have to work 24/7 to barely survive. Some people are going to just take themselves out. Because what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Alcoholism is going to be even more complicated. It's going to be even more on the rise. Gambling is going to be on the rise because people are trying to find a way out. drugs consumption is going to be on the rise because people are trying to find their way out. This is the world we are living in. And you're talking about dating. Give me a break.
Nobody's dating anymore. And no, it's not because people are lazy, shallow, or afraid of commitment. It's because we're all trying to build love in a system that was never designed to hold it. This isn't a you problem, it's not even a them problem. It's a world problem, and we've all been dragged into it. First up, marriage. Not happening. People aren't coupling up at 22 with matching towels and a mortgage anymore. Why? Because we can't afford love and dental, duh. And if you do find someone you vibe with, you still gotta cross-reference credit scores, trauma loads, and whether you're building something or just filling space until they figure it out. So people are going solo, delaying marriage, skipping kids, and replacing intimacy with curated solitude and memes about emotional damage. We're independent, but not necessarily on purpose. Stay with me, because this brings me to work. Like the jobs we clock in for. Remote work was supposed to be the dream. You roll out of bed, no bra, microwave a coffee 3 times, and boom, you're no functioning at all. But with fewer partners, fewer coworkers, fewer daily interactions, a lot of us are just sitting in silence, screaming inside group chats that don't reply. That's not freedom. That's isolation in disguise as freedom. We traded cubicles for freedom, but freedom without support is just isolation in yoga pants. And the gig economy? The gig economy. We were promised flexibility, but it's more like, congratulations! You're the CEO of your own burnout. And it's not that everyone wants to be famous or an influencer either. It's that no one wants to work full time and still feel broke. The jobs that hold the world together don't come with stability anymore. They come with back pain, burnout, and $27 left by Thursday. We turned caretaking into failure and spectacle into value. We forgot that some jobs aren't glamorous. They're holy. Most high-paying jobs now are capital jobs, not societal ones. The guy shifting imaginary numbers on Wall Street makes 7 figures, but the social worker keeping families from falling apart, they're crying on their lunch break making $20 an hour. Tell me again how that's okay. We are not rewarding people who sustain life. We are rewarding people who extract from it. And then, if you do want to be one of the smarty good ones, like a therapist or a nurse practitioner, congrats! That'll be 6 years of school, $100,000 in debt, and the privilege of being broke while you save lives. The path to freedom requires 5 years of unpaid internships and a master's degree in burnout. And the middle path, dignified work, fair play, no burnout, doesn't seem to exist. You want to know what's really sexy? Living within your means. We know the system's broken. We're just too tired to fight someone's uncle in the comments again. Like, yes, Mark, I do believe capitalism is unsustainable. No, I don't have the energy to debate it between my 2 jobs and this stress rash. And let's bring in identity really quick, shall we? Back in the day, identity was like, I'm John, I fish. Now it's, I'm demisexual, plant-based Virgo who's pivoting from UX design to somatic healing while exploring my inner child and launching a newsletter about dopamine regulation. We're free to be anything, but nobody warned us that freedom comes with an infinite existential crisis and an identity buffet where every dish might give you spiritual food poisoning. So while we're spiraling about who we are, student debt is suffocating us, housing is laughable, and climate change is throwing hands. And instead of helping each other, we're either too busy fighting online or closed off from the world. Because the American system trained us to turn on each other or to close the world out. Trust in people? Only 34% of Americans say they believe most people can be trusted. That's not just sad, it's apocalyptic. It's the village is burning and everyone is live streaming it energy. We are in a spiritual dissonance, people. Our bodies are humming one rhythm, rest, community, meaning, and capitalism is blaring dubstep in the background, screaming, monetize or die, baby. And I'm sorry, but no, I don't want to build a brand. I want to be held. We're not broken people. We're just awake in a world that keeps gaslighting our guts. And then we get told to fix it with hustle. Launch a business, monetize your hobbies, become a boss. Man, launch what? The microwave? We don't need passive income. We need passive nervous systems. We need to stop measuring worth in productivity and start remembering that being human is not a brand strategy. It's not that we're bad at dating. Maybe it's that dating can't survive in a world this spiritually malnourished.